If I had to delete every two on my chart and keep only one, this would be it. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share you guys my 1GT Pro indicator and why I use it every single day, because it gives me three things that other tools don't, right, in just one glance. And it gives me what we call the trend stack that allows me to determine the long and short-term trend of any stocks, any asset classes. With a click of a button, we are able to pull up the trailing support and resistance that accounts for the stock's volatility as well. And finally, it comes up with bullish and even bearish signals that just gives us the added confirmation, right, or the entry confirmation whether to buy or to sell. So in this video, guys, I'm going to walk you through the exact playbook to find high conviction entries, how we actually protect our profits, we trail our stops, and we avoid fake moves so that you can trade with clarity without the guesswork, without overthinking. Let's go. So first off, let's talk about this thing called the reliable. What does a reliable indicator means? Well, reliable just means that it's a repeatable, simple process that you follow. It's rule-based. Time and again, you follow it, you will get consistent results. It's not based on gut feel, it's not based on too much subjectivity or you thinking too much. And it works across different markets and different time frames as well. So I would say that most indicators out there, they lack too much, or they may give you what we call too many conflicting signals, and you get confused and you have no idea what to do. My 1GT Pro indicator, which what I've been using now for the past 10, 15 over years, based on the one good trend strategy. Well, this is what we call confluence of factors. We look for a bullish or even bearish signals, we get other confirmations to confirm that particular move, and that's where we decide to take whether an entry or even an exit. So it's not just based on like one signal and then you just buy, one signal you sell. No, right? That signal is just one confirmation. If you get other confirmations, that's where you can think about really buying and selling. And that's what we call the confluence of several factors, all aligned to that particular trade direction. So let me go ahead to share with you guys right now on the 1GT Pro indicator that me and my team have been using, I would say, for the past, more than 10, 15 years already, right? Okay, so you can see this is Nvidia right now, right? One of the most popular AI tech stocks. So most people, when they look at the chart, this is what they see, right? You put up a chart, we have like different candles, red and green going up and down. And this is what we call a price charts, that you can see the price, right? And that's it, very clean. Well, you can go into analyze it on my own. And this is what I do as well, right? You can do some manual analysis, you do some of the trend, the support and resistance. However, based on this tool that I have, the reliable indicator that I've been using, well, we could just make it so much simple, right? And wait for that few confirmations. Let me show you what I mean. So what you can do is that we can determine the trend of a stock very quickly just by pulling out what we call the moving averages. So I kind of like inbuilt it right over here, and we can pull out the 100 days moving average and the 200 days moving average. So I've taken two boxes. You can see there are two lines now on the chart, right? So what are these two lines actually mean? Well, very simple. You can see that the red line is the 100 days moving average, right? You can see that it's like kind of like moving up and up and up. The blue line is moving up, the red is above the blue. So when we are seeing the red above the blue and both are pointing up, I would say that it would be pretty much in a longer term uptrend, and you want to take trades that are along with the trend in the longer term. Does it make sense? Right? And that's where you are kind of like in the right direction. You're not going against the trend, right? So that's what we're going to do, right? First of all, we want to be in the same direction as the longer term trend, and just by turning two lines up, you can see that are we in a longer term trend or maybe in a downtrend, right? So you can see very strong long term uptrend for Nvidia since like 2023, red above the blue, all the way up until somewhere around like beginning of 2025. Well, we started to see the red and the blue line starting to cross down below one another, flatten out. But over the past like 1 to 2 months, or finally, we forgot the 100 days moving average line, red line going back above the blue line. Alright, so it seems like it's something like back to where we were in 2023, whereby the red has gone above the blue, alright, and both are starting to point up. So we might be in the beginning of a longer term uptrend. Does it make sense? And the next thing we pull out from the 1GT Pro indicator would be that of the 20 days moving average. So it's kind of like inbuilt right over here, alright, all in just one indicator. Let's turn it on. And now you can see that, wow, we have another line that just popped out on Nvidia, alright, and that will be what we call the green 20 days moving average line. So you can see that for Nvidia, well, the red and blue line since 2023 has been pretty much up and up. So long-term trend was up, like I mentioned, right? However, if you look at the green 20 days moving average line, you can see that it's not always up. It can be down, because in the short term, we might see a couple of sell down, a week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months in the short term, even though the longer term trend is still up. Does it make sense? All right. And you can see that is where you have sold off. Look at the green line. It's sold off right over here. So green line went down. Short-term trend went down for about 2 weeks. Over here from July 2024, it went down. You see, went up a bit, went down a bit, right? So the short-term trend can be down. In fact, right over here in December, November 2024, the green line started to go down, down, down. You see what I mean, right? So when the longer term trend is up, right, and the short term trend is down, the green line is down, well, we don't want to rush in just to buy, because even though the longer term trend is up, we could still see weakness in the short term. And this short term could be 1 week, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 1 month, it could be 3 months, 4 months. Like, you can see previously it was like maybe about a month, but from December 2024 to all the way to April, it was like 4 or 5 months. It went down and down and down. So imagine if you just got in, all right, you might get stuck. Right? So what we're going to do is that we want to wait for the alignments of the trend. Remember, right, when we talk about a reliable indicator, we're going to wait for more confirmations coming in, not just because the longer term trend is up, you get it. No, right? So longer term trend is good, that's one thing, right? But if the longer term trend is aligned with the short term trend, all right, like right over here, whereby the longer term trend started to maybe flatten out, starting to point up, and the green line turns up, there we go, all the way up. Same thing over here, all the way up. All right, let me show you right over here as well. So you can see longer term trend is up, the green line was down, wait for it, pam, green line turns up. That's it, right? Both the longer term trend and the short term trend is up. Same thing over here, right? You can see the green line was pretty much flat. So when the green 20 days moving average line is flat, it means that the short term trend is sideways. It's boring, right? It's just consolidating sideways. But when it finally what we call breaks a resistance level, like the $50, right? So break the $50, the green 20 days moving average line starts to turn up. There we go, right? We break a resistance, there's more upside momentum. Long-term trend is already up. Short-term trend turned from sideways to up. Another confirmation. That is what we call the confluence of factors, all pointing to one direction. So based on the 1GT Pro indicator, how do we get another confirmation that, besides the longer term trend and the short term trend, there are added signs of it really moving up as well? Well, that's where we can turn on the very first box of the 1GT Pro indicator. And that's what we call the buy and sell signals, or the bullish or even bearish signals. Right at the top, the very first box that just gives us that added confirmation based on the price action of any stock, any asset classes. Let me go to turn it on, 1, 2, 3, pump. And there we go. So now, apart from the 3 lines, now you can clearly see that there are bullish green signals and even bearish red signals on Nvidia. All right, so let's just go through very quickly. You can see that, well, just now we talk about like right over here, right? The long-term trend was up. The green 20 days moving average was like sideways, point up. But then we got another confirmation. All right, whereby we got a new 1GT bullish signal after breaking what we call a resistance level. And there we go, all the way up. Same thing over here. So when we see a bearish signal, it can guide us to take some profit and get, looking at the bullish signal from here all the way to the bearish signal, that will be a 67% in about 3 months. Pretty impressive, right? 67% in 3 months. Get out, take some profit, wait for the direction, wait for the time to come back in again. All right, and when would that be? Well, same thing, right? That's why we're going to wait for more confirmations to get back in. The bullish signal coming out would be an added confirmation, not 1 but 2, right? 2 bullish signals. Of course, the long-term trend was really up. We got 2 bullish signals, and look at the green 20 days moving average line. It was like going down, right? Wait for it, pump, 2 bullish signals. Green line, wait for it, green line, pump, green line turns up. There we go. Right, there we go, all the way up again. Another, let's see, right, another 43% in about a month plus. All right, so that's where we get more confirmations, all right, not just from the green, the red, and the blue lines, all right, that tells us the trend, but also the bullish and even bearish signals. That's just an added confirmation based on the price action of that particular stock. So let me just go to zoom in for Nvidia. All right, what has happened since the beginning of 2025. So it's not always like green signals every time. As I said, there would be bearish signals coming out as well. All right, and you can see that since we began 2025, well, that was where we saw not 1, not 2, but 3, 4, 5 bearish signals, red signals. Not good, right? So when you see a bearish signal, all right, doesn't mean you see a bearish signal means it will crash and go all the way down, but if you see a bearish signal plus some other confirmation that is going down, then you might want to be careful, right? That's where you want to take some profit, especially it's gone up by quite a fair bit, or maybe you have got in, you want to have a stop loss to protect the downside. Does it make sense? You don't want to hold all the way down. All right, so you see we've got bearish signals, and when that happened, well, obviously you can see that the green 20 days moving average line, like I mentioned, started to point down, all the way down, right? So you want to be careful. I mean, you're sold off by, from the very first bearish signal to here, you're sold off, I would say, by about 30%. So imagine if you just held it and hold it all the way down. That's where, you just might be back to square one when it rebounds up, right? But we get out, wait for the time to come back in again, right over here where you see a new 1GT bullish signal, and there we go. So green line started to turn up, all right, as another confirmation. Bullish signal came out as another confirmation, and there we go. All right, of course, you can see that the 20 days, the 100 days and the 200 days moving average, the longer term trend was still starting to, move sideways, maybe starting to turn up as well. All right, but it take a while, and only the red line, the blue line, only started to point out across one another for the longer term trend confirmation right around here about 1 to 2 months later, because the longer term trend, so it takes a while, right? But you can see that confirmation came in, and that was where we saw a very strong rally. So let's just zoom in right now to Nvidia and see that, what is it saying right now, all right? So do we have a bullish signal? I'll be looking at more upside. Let's find out. So you can see right now, right? In fact, I just want to talk about this stock because over the past few days, it seems like we got triggered a new 1GT bullish signal. So remember, right over here in May, early of May, we got a bullish signal, right? It went all the way up from here, all the way up. We got a bearish signal, 51% in about 4 months, right? 51%, 4 months, not too bad. Take some profit if you want to get out. I mean, look at the green line. The green line also started to turn down. So bearish signal, green line turns down, short-term trend is down, even though the long-term trend was up, right? Well, that could just, guide you to maybe just take some profit, get out. I mean, you don't have to be too greedy, right? 50% profits, right? And then the thing is what? Do you get out and just ignore the stock forever and not get in again? Right? No, right? What happens is that you get out, wait for it to stabilize, wait for some strength to come back again, wait for some buying pressure to come back, or maybe even a new 1GT bullish signal to appear. And that is where you could open your eyes again, all right? And it seems like, this 1GT bullish signal has came out finally over the past 2-3 days for Nvidia, one of the most popular AI tech stocks that I get asked quite often, right? In fact, it's the one leading the entire AI craze, right? Apart from Microsoft, Alphabet, Meta, and all that. So we are starting to see strength. So we got a 1GT bullish signal, all right? So let's just go through what we call the confirmations that we are seeking for, right? So we have what we call a 7-point checklist, but today, right, I'm just going to go through very briefly. If you want to find out more later, I'll show you guys as to how you can learn about the entire checklist, the entire strategy. But let me go and talk about Nvidia right now. You can see, right, that we got a 1GT bullish signal. The long-term trend, the red and blue line, has already been up since about 2 months back, right? The short-term trend, the green line, was actually up, down, sideways. And look at this, right? The green line, the 20 days moving average line, over the past few days, it has just started to point. I mean, it's only 2-3 days, right? So it has just started to point up. We might actually be pointing even higher as more confirmation, right? So I think that we are kind of attempting. So let's take note, guys. We are attempting to break this, I would say, very critical resistance level right over here. Look at this, right? The 185. So $185 for Nvidia. We have touched it somewhere in August. Touch. Couple of bearish signals, sold off. Same thing here. We went there, sold off. Even about 2 weeks back, we neared it. We sold off. So 185 is a very critical horizontal resistance level that we just couldn't get above it over the past 2 months, right? Every time we neared it, sellers came back and we sold down. So that could be another confirmation whereby it finally, right, we got a bullish signal after breaking 185. It broke the 185 resistance level, and longer the trend is up already. The short-term trend is starting to turn up, or that could be where there could be more signs of it pushing even higher, all right? Especially if it stays above the 185's level. So this 185 will be what we call a new support level for now. So that's it for Nvidia, guys. And if you want to find out about the entire one good trend strategy, guys, I want to share with you guys this very important thing, right? I'm doing a live book launch. Yes, right over here, guys, you can see that this is my new book called One Good Trend Secrets, right? So I'll be doing a live book launch on the 18th of October, Saturday, for 6 hours, right? 6 hours, 10 a.m. all the way to 4 p.m. I'll be talking about the contents of this book right over here. We have like more than 200 pages. I'll do my best to share the entire checklist, live case studies, and of course how you can get this book for free as well. So make sure you click on the link below the video. Join us for 6 hours, 18 October, Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I look forward to share more with you guys about the entire One Good Trend strategy. Alright, let's take a look at another case study, or just to show you guys about the 1GT Pro indicators. So just to save time, you see that I've already turned on the 3 moving averages plus the buy and sell signals. Of course, there's some other more advanced features like the volume, risk management, and all that. If you're going to find out more, attend the live launch on 18 October 2025, 10 a.m. all the way to 4 p.m. for 6 hours. We are going live. There'll be Q&A. There'll be a AMAS, Ask Me Any Stock session as well with my team. So make sure you join us, right? And I can't wait to share with you guys this entire book called One Good Trend Secrets. Okay, now let's go to talk about this stock called Geo Energy Resource. Right over here, one of the Singapore stocks that has been in my watch list since about 2-3 months back. We actually sent out a note to our clients in Philips Securities as well. So you can see very quickly, why did this stock even come to my watch list? Well, quite clearly you can see that we have what we call bullish 1GT signals coming out. As I say, right, when we get a 1GT bullish signal, doesn't mean you just rush in to just buy blindly, right? No, right? That is just one signal. But if you get a signal and the green line points down, then obviously not so good. Does that make sense, right? So if you get a bullish signal, the long-term trend is down, the short-term trend is down, we are kind of like, you know, trading lower and lower, lower highs and lows, we're in a downtrend. No, right? We wouldn't get it, right? We only want to get in when there's confluence of factors, right? Bullish signals, the long-term trend is up, the short-term trend is up, all right? And we get other things like the volume and stuff, right? That would just give us more conviction for that particular trade, right? So for Geo Energy Resource, you can see, right, before that we actually got a bearish signal right over here. We got a 1GT bearish signal, I would say somewhere in June, right? So we got a bearish signal. So can you see that when we got this 1GT bearish signal, not so good, right? The longer term trend was actually right? So some people might say, hey, Juby, we've got a bearish signal, but the longer term trend is up, so we can just rush in to buy. Not really, because we got a bearish signal, and obviously the green line has actually started to point down, right? So, you know, only the longer term trend is up, right? But the other two is flat down, right? So why do you want to rush, right? You want to wait for the confirmation whereby a new bullish signals actually comes back again. And there it happened, right? Somewhere around like 7th of August, we got a new 1GT bullish signal. You can see that by then, the green 20 days moving average line has started to reverse back up as another confirmation, and there we go, right? All the way up. It is still pointing up. Yes, it is still pointing up. And not only that, we got another 1GT bullish signal coming, and that was where, you know, we kind of like broke above what we call a horizontal resistance level. Let me just show you what I mean, right? That would be another box, right? Right over here, the second box pump that's on. You can see that we actually went above the horizontal resistance level. That would be where there could be more upside momentum, especially if you touch a level and came down a couple of funds and finally you go above it, you're free, right? You're free. That is where we would get a 1GT bullish signal that can signify more upside momentum. So that would be another box. As I say, right, if you want to find a little more, attend the live launch event 18 October 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's where I'll dive a little bit deeper into the entire One Good Trend strategy. So right now you can see for Geo Energy, it looks pretty good, right? All, I would say, confirmations are aligned. The longer term trend is still up, bullish signals are still in play, the short term trend is up. I think we may be even, you know, breaking the 50 cents to push even higher. All right, but it's not about this stock, whether it's good or to buy or not, but, you know, I'll share with you guys the entire framework and what we're actually looking for, all right, before any entry or even any exit. So there we have it, guys. These are the 2 stocks that I'd like to share with you guys today, but it's not about 2 stocks, but about the entire framework. I hope you have a better understanding on the entire One Good Trend strategy. So as I say, right, you want to find out a bit more, click on the link below the video, attend my free live launch, this book 1GT Secrets, One Good Trend Secrets live launch events, 18 October, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for 6 hours. We're going live, and I look forward to see you there. Joey here. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you soon. Bye for now.